Welcome back to educator.com. This lesson is on rounding decimals. So to begin, we need to go over the place values. So if I have a number right here, 12,345 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 thousandths, each number has a place value. So the one right here is 10 thousandths, the 2, the one right before the comma, thousandths. This is hundreds, tens, ones. Now the important part is looking at the numbers after the decimal point. So the decimal point is read as and. 6, this first number, is not ones, it's actually tenths. So it starts off as the tenths value with the TH. The next one would be hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. Okay? So keep this in mind. Make sure you look over this and remember these place values, okay? So in order, when we round decimals, the first thing you're going to do is circle. Now you don't have to circle, but it just makes it easier. The number in the place value that you have to round to. So if you look at this example right here, it says this number to the nearest tenth. Well, I know that tenths is the first number after the decimal point. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to circle that number. Okay, 5. Look at the number after the circled number, behind. So the number behind is a 6, right? Now, that number behind the circled number, if it's greater than 5 or greater, then you add 1 to the circled number. So meaning you're going to round that number up. If it's smaller than 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0, then you don't make any changes to that circled number. You keep it as a 5. So this circled number is either going to stay a 5 or it's going to become a 6 if you round up. So after you determine that, you're going to rewrite the number, the whole thing, but replace all the numbers behind the circled number with zeros. Okay, so that's the point of rounding. You're going to stop at this number. That's going to be the last number you're going to write, and then the rest are going to become zeros. So this number 6, the number behind the circled number, is greater than 5, which means I have to take this circled number and round it up. So I'm going to add 1 to the circled number, right? So this number is going to become a 6. So this number is now a 6. Okay, and then I'm going to rewrite all the numbers, the whole thing, but replace the last numbers with zeros. So my new number, after rounding, it's going to become 1,234 and 6 tenths. Okay, and then I can put zeros at the end of them. Okay, so this is my new number, okay, my rounded number. So let's do a few more examples. Round each. Here is a number. This is read 426 and 93 hundredths. So this number right here, 93, and you read it as a hundredths because that's the last number that you see there. That's the last place value. So this is tenths, this is hundredths. So you're going to read this as 93 hundredths. Now, it says to round this to the nearest tens. Okay. So the tens, number the tens value, this is 1, and this is tens. So I'm going to circle that. The number behind it is a 6. It's greater than 5. Okay, so the 6 value is greater than 5, which means the circled number becomes a 3. I have to round up by adding 1. So all the numbers before the 2 stay the same. The numbers behind the 2 are replaced with zeros. Don't forget the decimal though, okay? You still have to have that decimal. So this number is before the 2, so 4, and then the circle number, again, remember we were going to round up, that becomes a 3, the 6 becomes a 0, everything else becomes zeros. Okay? So it's going to round, if I round to the nearest tens, then it's going to become, this number is going to become 430, or 430.00. The next one, round to the nearest tenths. The tenths, okay, be careful, the tenths is the first number after the decimal point. That's this 0. Then I look at the number right behind it, which is a 9. It is greater than 5. So then my 0 rounds up. So I do 31.0 becomes a 1. Then everything else becomes a 0. Okay. The next few examples, we have this number right here to the nearest hundredths. Tenths, hundredths. Circle this number. Okay, and then I look at the number behind it. Is it 5 or greater? Yes, it is. That means this 2 rounds up to become a 3. Okay, then all the numbers before it stay the same. 42.8. Then instead of writing 2, I have to write the 3. The numbers behind it become zeros. Okay, so that's my answer. The next one, round this to the nearest hundredths. Again, so hundredths, tenths, hundredths. Circle it. The number after it, the number behind it is a 3. And that is not 5 or greater. It's smaller than 5, which means my 6 stays the same. If it's smaller than 5, the number behind it, this number right here. If it's smaller than 5, then this number, I don't make any changes to that 6. Okay, I don't subtract 1. I just leave it the same. So it's either going to be the same or it's going to be 1. You're going to add 1 to it. So it's 44 and 96 hundredths. Okay, and then 0, 0. Okay, this number to the nearest tenths. The tenths is, again, this number right here, the first number after the decimal point. Look at the number behind it. Is this the number behind it 5 or greater? Yes, it's 5 or greater. It's 5. So then I have to add 1 to that circled number. This becomes a 1 now. So then 693 and 1/10. And then I can put these as zeros. The next, nearest tens. Now, see the difference between this one and this one? Tenths. Tens. So this one has the TH, so that means it's this place value right here after the decimal point, and then tens would be this number right here, okay, because it's ones and tens. And then I look at the number right behind it. It's smaller than 5, which means my circled number stays the same. So this would be 60 or 69, and then my 3 changes to a 0, decimal point, 0, 0, 0. Keep in mind, okay, when you have zeros at the end of a number after the decimal point, then I don't have to write them out. Again, only the zeros that are at the end of a number and behind the decimal point. Okay? In that case, then I don't have to write them. You could, and you don't have to. If there's a 0 before the decimal point in front of it, then you have to. Okay? So then, because 69 we know is different than 690. So you have to make sure to have that 0 there. But these zeros, as long as they're at the end of a number and it's behind the decimal point, then you don't have to write them out. Okay? But you could just leave it like this. This is fine. Okay, this number to the nearest thousands. No TH. That means the thousands is the number right before the first comma, right? So right in front of the first comma is the thousands. So I'm going to circle that. The number before it is a 5. It's 5 or greater, so that means I have to change the 0 to a 1. So I'm going to write all the numbers before it. So 1, 8, 9. And instead of writing the 0, I'm going to write the 1. Okay, I'm going to write my commas. And then remember, all the numbers after the circled number are going to turn into zeros. So this was my circled number, right? That changed to 1, 0 to 1. So it's going to become 0, 0, 0, 0.00. And again, because these zeros are at the end of a number and they're behind the decimal point, I don't have to write them out. Okay, but I could if I want. I can just leave it like that. Okay, so this is the number when you round this to the nearest thousands. Now this one is to the nearest thousandths with the TH. Okay, so that means we know it's behind the decimal point. Here's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay, so then I'm going to round to that number. I circle it. Look at the number behind it. It's a 7. It's 5 or greater, right? 7 is bigger than 5. That means I change the circled number to a 5. I round up. Okay, so again, the circled number, it's either going to stay the same if this number behind it is smaller than 5, or it's going to become 1 bigger if it's 5 or greater, if the number behind it is 5 or greater. Okay, and then when I rewrite my number, I'm going to write all the numbers in front of it up to my circled number, and then all the numbers behind it becomes zeros. So 5.055, and then this becomes 0 right there. Okay, so that's it for this lesson on rounding decimals. Thank you for watching educator.com.